Magic Garden is the 5th UFO 50 game, and on its surface, it's a really simple score-chasing arcade-style game, but upon further plays, this game has way more depth than you might expect, and it's one of the few games that I'm really consciously returning to. So the premise is really simple. You're this cute little gardener girl, and there's this evil witch, Cloverana, who is just ruining your garden. She's making everything dangerous, making, little mushrooms, and your little Opies who you're trying to save, these cute red little guys, are turning evil and attacking people, right? So it's up to you to save 200 of them, and the game ends as soon as you do that, by the way. There's no score chasing beyond that, so it's really up to you how you go about getting your points. Now, the funniest thing about this game by far is figuring it out, and I would just like to let my own experience speak for itself. Oh, wow. Okay, this really does have a lot more color. Whoa. What the heck? What just happened? I don't know what to do with these little slimes. Oh. Okay, they kill you. Oh, you can't jump on them either. Oh my gosh, my first scoring round and I died. Oh, the mushrooms still get you! The mushrooms still get you! Ah! Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, so if it's not really clear, you are trying to get rows and rows of Opies. As you've picked them up on the map, your tail grows behind you. It's a lot like the old classic game Snake. And star spots will show up on the map. And if you spin attack into them, all the Opies that are on a star tile are going to get scored for points. Now, every time you get 6 of them total, okay? This is not like you need to have a chain of 6 to trigger this. The game counts with that little tally marks underneath your cat on the left-hand side of the screen. How many you get, you will get a potion on the map. Now, the potion will initially be weak, but as time passes, the potency of it will increase, the color will change, where gold ends up being the best, right? The earlier, weaker potions are not able to kill mushrooms, while stronger ones are. Now, an additional thing to note here is that a gold potion is going to increase the OP count on the screen by 1. Normally, when you pick up one of these little red guys, 1 will instantly show up on the screen as well, but the more gold potions you drink, the more your field is going to get flooded, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, right? The reason why it might be bad is because if you try to score Opies, and there are some that are not touching a star panel, maybe you scored a little too quickly, or maybe you just have way too line a chain of them, and they're not all going to fit. All the ones that you fail to have up there are going to instantly turn into enemies on the map. And these guys are pretty annoying because they move around a little bit too. You can scout out a little bit where they're going to be moving based off their eyes, but still, it's kind of tricky. And you really do have a jump that's only going to be used fleetingly and sparingly. You know, your jump is not pixel perfect. You can definitely jump on top of something and die. It's not like Mario where you're going to be, hurting things with your feet. This is Cloverana's magic, and she's making sure that you are going to die, unfortunately. So yeah, you got to be really, really careful with your jump. And honestly, even your chain, Snake style of Opies, you can run into and hit. In fact, as you've seen in my video, running into a wall will hurt you as well. So it's tough because you only have 1 life. And I think a lot of people are going to see that and experience that and feel really frustrated and just put it away. But gang, I'm here to tell you, this game was one of the most subtle games at first. Again, I think I probably would have just skipped it after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but forcing myself to get the cherry, forcing myself to spend a lot of time with this really, really unlocked this deeper appreciation for this game. In fact, I think it might be the most underrated game of all the UFO 50s that I've tried so far. Because potions are on the map, when you eat them, you turn into this sort of Pac-Man style mode, right? Where you can instantly start scoring enemies on the map, you clear them out. That's how you can make the map safe to walk through again. But it's also the best way to score points, right? You are actually not scoring that many by having a huge chain of Opies all at once. You score I think an extra 10 points for each one, but the real meat and potatoes of scoring in this game is just how many Opies can you clear while you're in that potion mode. Now, what's really cool is that you don't have to drink the potion. I'm sure most people are just going to drink a potion right away and start clearing enemies, but you don't have to, okay? If you're trying to get the cherry and you're trying to gun for a really, really high score, you want to leave potions on the map because 1, they're going to be, stewing a bit more. They're going to be able to turn into gold potions that are the most effective. But then 2, if you have multiple potions on the map, you can chain together the length of time that you're invincible killing enemies, which is obviously good for a number of reasons. One, you just get more time to kill things, but two, your multiplier increases by 1 every time you drink one of these potions. So you'll go from times 2 to times 3 to times 4. You can rack up some obscene amounts of points by hoarding potions, but there's this really cool tension here, this give and take, because you only have one life, right? So you can have this amazingly beautiful strategy of 7 potions on the map, but if the field is just full of way too many enemies as you go for it and you die, well, there goes your run, right? There goes 10 to 15 minutes of your time down the drain, which again is frustrating, but it's also this really interesting tension that I think is just so deliberate in a really cool way. Because of the only one life system, and because of the way that scoring works, you know, you are so incentivized to push your luck to the ultimate max. And I think that ultimately achieving that is such a satisfying feeling. Again, the game does end right at 200 OP saved, which means that you have an actual cap, right? If you are really ultra efficient with your potion counts and you go for 6 at a time, you're going to get a little more than 30 potions throughout the entire game. So it's kind of called when do you pull the trigger and chain together your massive scoring, and how risky can you get? Sometimes you just got to go for it, right? Sometimes if the map is way too cluttered, you just got to start clearing things out, and you know, so be it. If it wasn't ultra efficient and maximized, then that's just how it is, right? That's how your run went. So the fact that the game has a true limit, that you can't just chain together 99999 points by being extremely skilled at the game, I think is a really cool aspect in its favor. The points really do matter because the OPs matter. Again, there's only 200 total, so you can't just chain together things infinitely, but it kind of feels just amazing once you can pull it off. I will say too, the ending of the game, beautiful. Surprisingly beautiful. It felt like a Miyazaki film. I'm sure there are people who probably thought this was like too simple and childish, but this is an 8-bit, you know, NES inspired system. This is the type of storytelling you have. And I will say too, the title screen, just like the splash screen as you enter too, does a lot of heavy lifting, I think, in terms of the game's charm and aesthetic. Game's just beautiful. By the way, this is the first game developed on the LX2 system, which I guess had slightly better color proficiency compared to the 5 games before this. So yeah, you can start to really see just how gorgeous the color palette is. I think the game does an amazing job of being extremely simple while extremely rewarding, so skill intensive. This is probably the first of all the games I've played so far that I really find myself going back to and playing more and more again. And so I'm going to give it the really surprising score of 6 Barbudas. I think this game is just as good as the Metroidvania. It's not normally my style. I'm not normally an arcade style chaser. You can see that I didn't enjoy Ninpek nearly as much. Ninpek is cool and fast paced and enjoyable in a side scrolling way, but something about this game, it's got this magnetism to it. I don't know how else to say it. So I hope that you enjoy checking this game out yourself. Do put into practice potion chaining. Go for that cherry, folks. I'll see you next time.